motion to open the meeting, please?
Make a motion to open the meeting?
Second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Please stand for the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion to rearrange the agenda and take number 3, swap number 2 and number 3?
So moved?
Second? All in favor? Okay, with that, welcome everyone. It is November 21st, school board meeting of the Mahopac Board of Education. I'm going to turn it over now to Superintendent Tona to introduce the BOCES Student of Distinction.
Thank you, President Savino. So in turn, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm going to invite Lou Riolo, Assistant Superintendent of Putnam Northwest Chester BOCES, to the podium, along with Mike Sowell, Principal.
Thank you, Superintendent Tona, President Savino, trustees, community members. My name is Lou Riolo. I'm one of the assistant superintendents at PNW BOCES. It's my pleasure to oversee several programs, one of them being our career and technical education program. Tonight we have the Student of Distinction. Student of Distinction is an award that we give out to individual students from one member from each district every single year. So it's an honor. It's also the best part of my job. I used to be a principal and get to do this all the time. I only get to do it 18 times a year, but it's the best part of my job. I'd just like to first start off by thanking the board, the administration, staff, along with the community for their constant support of our programs. Mahopac is one of the largest users of our services, including having one of the highest attendance at CTE, Career and Technical Education Program. So I just want to take the time before I introduce Mike Sowell, just to thank you, thank the community, and thank everyone for your partnership with us. It is a true blessing and a pleasure, and we hope to continue it. With that, I'd like to introduce our principal, Mr. Mike Sowell, who will introduce our student and your student, who is being recognized as Student of Distinction for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, I would like to read the nomination letter that Dr. Brightman wrote. Dr. Brightman is Dan's teacher. Unfortunately, he could not be here tonight. He's a practicing chiropractor, and he has his own practice in the evening. But nonetheless, I'd like to read that letter. So this is regarding Daniel Debukai, right? Am I pronouncing that correctly? Okay. I've had the good fortune of teaching and observing Daniel in our sports medicine program over the past year. Sports medicine is a rigorous program of 2 years. The mission is to prepare students for the rigors they will face in the allied health professions, with an emphasis on anatomy, physiology, exercise science, injury prevention, and rehabilitation. The program assesses the students in a variety of ways, both formally and informally. Dan came into the program as a motivated student who is interested in the allied health sciences. He has met and exceeded all expectations, socially and academically. He's a steadfast student who comes to class prepared to work and succeed. He has the ability to work well independently and has fared well on his assignments, his quizzes, and all of his exams. He's a great listener who is locked in during class and will participate at a very high level. He's enrolled in our accelerated early college entrance program. He's currently taking courses that will lead towards college credits in anatomy and physiology, as well as health and fitness for life. Beyond the academics, Dan is a natural leader in his class. He enters the room each day with a cheerful greeting and leaves with gratitude at the end of class. He has a strong presence in a very positive way, and many students look up to him. Furthermore, he is very aware of people around him and is always inclusive and respectful. I have the utmost confidence in his success, and he is very balanced socially and academically and willing to work hard. So that's what Dr. Brightman wrote. So it's our honor to present him with our student.
Okay, yes. Superintendent Tona, President Selino, come up.
Family, yes, congratulations. And let's give Dan a round of applause. Very nice crowd. Takes it back.
President Selino, thank you so much.
Congratulations. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, everybody, appreciate it. Thank you. Congratulations.
Wow, first time. Okay, I'm going to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter that may lead to the appointment of an individual.
Make a motion to go into executive.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll be back in a few minutes, folks. Okay. Welcome back. Sorry for the intermission. Continuing on. Thank you. You make a motion to go back into public. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we're gonna pass. Okay, I'm gonna turn it back over to Superintendent Tona for another accommodation.
Thank you, President Savino. So tonight we were going to honor Isabella DeRosa. I do not believe she's here though. So, but Isabella, it's great news. She was selected to represent all of Putnam County on the New York State Governor's Youth Council. So it's a tremendous honor. We congratulate Isabella and we'll make sure she gets the certificate. Now I'd like to introduce, on behalf of the Mahopac Teachers Association, Lisa Etlinger, as she makes her way up to the podium. Just a reminder for those that aren't aware, but Board of Education Recognition Month was in October, but we were not able to celebrate our Board of Education at that time, so we're going to take a few moments to do so tonight. So I'll turn it over to Lisa.
Hi, good evening. My name is Lisa Etlinger. I'm a first grade teacher at Lakeview. I wanted to take this opportunity on behalf of the Mahopac Teachers Association to thank the school board members for their commitment and sacrifice they each give for the betterment of the Mahopac Central School District. Your actions impact the future of our students' lives, and we appreciate your dedication and hard work. So thank you very much.
And now I would like to invite Tom Kozakria, President of the Administrators Association of Mahopac up to the podium.
Good evening, Superintendent Tona, Board President Savino, Assistant Superintendents, and School Board. I'm happy to be here this evening to speak on behalf of the Mahopac administrators and share our gratitude for the work of our school board. The commitment you demonstrate to our students is truly commendable. Your tireless effort, countless hours, and the personal sacrifices you make to guide our schools and make crucial decisions do not go unnoticed. It's evident that you're driven by a genuine passion for the betterment of our educational community. Working alongside Superintendent Tona, you've played a pivotal role in shaping the vision of Mahopac schools. Your collaborative efforts have led to remarkable initiatives that have enriched the educational experiences for our students. The introduction of Teachers College at the elementary and middle school levels and Project Lead the Way at the middle school and high school are shining examples of your commitment to providing our students with the best possible education. Moreover, we express our deepest gratitude for the various building enhancements that have transformed our educational landscape. From new libraries to mini theaters, from climate-controlled buildings to numerous other improvements, your support has created an environment conducive to learning and growth. We recognize the sacrifices you make by investing your personal time to ensure the success of Mahopac Central School District. Your leadership and strategic decision-making have set a standard of excellence that inspires us all. In conclusion, we want you to know that your hard work is appreciated and the impact of your efforts resonates throughout the entire community. Thank you for your selfless service, your guidance, and your commitment to the success and well-being of our students. We are truly fortunate to have such a dedicated and visionary school board leading the way. Thank you very much, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you very much for your kind words. I will back to Superintendent Tona for the strategic plan presentation.
Thank you, President Savino. Do we have the slide advance, or should I come up there?
It's on here, they don't have a clicker though.
Okay, I'll come up there. So I'm very, very excited to be able to share with you tonight our strategic plan, Blueprint for Success, which will run for the next 5 years from this month through June of 2028. So also on the agenda tonight, on the consent agenda, the Board of Education will be hopefully approving the actual document that everyone can see there. So I'm just going to summarize some of the steps and some of the plan this evening. So here you can see a timeline of the actions that have been taken about a year ago through now, where we engaged staff members on Superintendent's Conference Day to get ideas. We did a thought exchange back in February and March with the staff and the community to get some more ideas. I'd like to thank all of our administrators in the district for their efforts and assistance in drafting the actual plan with me based on the input of the staff and community. And then I'd like to also commend the Board of Education, where we worked for a few months in the summer to develop and adopt a vision, a mission, and core values for the district. And then in June of 23, our seniors were given a thought exchange so that they could leave their imprint as they move on from our high school, so that they can inform us on some topics that are important for the students of tomorrow. And then October, November, we were reviewing this draft plan with the PTO presidents, staff members across the district, and here we are tonight. So here, just to remind everyone of the thought exchange questions that were posed. First to the community and staff. keeping student success at the forefront of everything we do. What do you value most about our school district? And what can we do to better prepare our students for the challenges and opportunities of the future? And we asked our high school seniors, reflecting on your experiences both inside and outside of the classroom, how have we prepared you for your next steps, and what suggestions do you have for us to better prepare future students? Our new Mahopac Central School District vision statement. The Mahopac Central School District strives to become schools of excellence that produce exceptional members of society. Our mission statement. The Mahopac Central School District develops educated, upstanding citizens with practical life skills through rigorous preparation for the real world. And our core values. We value high academic standards and real-world readiness, leadership traits and uniqueness, a safe learning environment. We expect compassion, collaboration, and empathy, resilient critical thinkers and creative problem solvers, lifelong learners who exhibit pride for their school and community. We are Mahopac. So the strategic plan involves several different areas. So tonight we're going to be focusing on the priorities and goals and the action items, but also in the plan are more specific descriptions of each action item, as well as which administrator or administrators will ultimately be responsible for making sure that we move forward with these actions. And what is the anticipated completion? In some cases, it might have a year and then ongoing because we recognize that we'll never be done with that particular area, or there might be a date listed. It's usually the end of a school year, and also a spot for annual status updates. So we do plan to review the strategic plan at least annually. It'll be something that we'll be checking in on a regular basis through our administrative team meetings, but once a year we'll update the Board of Education, and the strategic plan is a fluid document. So there might be items in that plan that we achieve sooner, things that we may decide we need to adjust midstream, and there might be other areas that may need to be added in the future. So here you can see the 5 priorities and their goals. So the first priority is student academic opportunities, and the goal there is to provide students with a multitude of opportunities to achieve high academic standards and real-world readiness. The second priority is student learning environment, providing a transformative learning environment which not only allows every student to reach their potential, but also illuminates possibilities they might never have envisioned. The third priority is student well-being, provide an optimal social-emotional learning environment where students feel safe and supported. Priority 4, facilities and infrastructure, provide students, staff, and community with state-of-the-art facilities which foster pride in our schools, grounds, and district. And priority 5, community engagement. Provide consistent and informative communication to families, community members, and staff to improve engagement and district image. So now we're going to break each priority down. And you can see here that first priority, student academic opportunities. I don't want to read them all, so I'm just going to give you a couple of seconds to take a look at the topics that are here. I'll just pull out some keywords while you look. So financial literacy, seal of civic readiness, Mahopac history, expanding high school pathways, universal pre-kindergarten, increased seal of biliteracy opportunities, college readiness, a broad continuum of services for all, that meet the needs of all students, instructional technology opportunities, and preparing students to be successful in accomplishing real-world tasks. Looking at student learning environment. So the first priority talks about specific things that directly impact students, where the student learning environment are things that happen in the background that help support the students to be able to achieve. So just some keywords here: curriculum map, scope and sequence, technical skills, reviewing the continuum of special education to make sure that we're compliant, data to inform instruction and operations, common assessments, professional learning opportunities for staff, creating a profile of a graduate and a profile of a learner at key grade levels, college admissions, expanding our networking with them, taking a look at security and cybersecurity, and building digital resilience, wellness, and citizenship for all students. Looking at student well-being, while there are less items here, each one has a lot in those descriptors if you take a look. So we're looking at restorative practices, providing all students with resources to meet their social and emotional needs, improving equity and access for all students, and developing a multi-tiered system of support plan. Looking at the fourth priority of facilities and infrastructure, we look forward to the completion of the capital project, improving bathrooms across the district, rebranding the district with a new mascot and logo, developing a multi-year facilities plan and a multi-year financial plan, and digitizing records and reducing paper usage. And finally, our fifth priority is community engagement, improving communication with staff, with families and community, marketing the school district in a positive way, establishing parent university opportunities, and supporting our alumni network. So looking ahead, as I mentioned earlier, we'll be reviewing the blueprint for success every spring. An update for each action item will be provided as applicable. If one particular item is not touched upon that year, there might be some behind-the-scenes work being done to get us ready to address it the next year. So this document, the actual plan itself, may be modified throughout the review process, and a presentation to the Board of Education will be done annually following the review process, and the Board of Education will be asked to approve any modifications. So a big thank you to all of our students, the staff members, community members who provided guidance, ideas, and input during this process, those who participated through thought exchange responses, attendance at community connections with me, feedback sessions during superintendent's conference days, and the various and many meetings and discussions that happened both formally and informally over the past year plus since I began in the position, led to the creation of this blueprint for success. So I look forward to everyone's future involvement and feedback as we review the actions so that we can provide our students with the tools that they need to become successful, productive citizens now as they move through the district and beyond. Any questions? More comments?
I think it's outstanding. I love that we'll be reviewing it annually, having a presentation annually, treating it like a living, breathing document. It's welcomed, and I appreciate every party that put work into it. It's nice to see it culminate, and look forward to seeing a lot of these goals achieved. Thank you.
Thank you.
I got a question, thank you. Love it, by the way, Ms. Tone. It's clear you took feedback from a wide variety of people. It's clear the board's input was definitely heard throughout the document, which is really important. I have a specific question about, and you know I'm very excited about this, the personal financial literacy aspect. Under the description of the action item, it talks about reviewing curriculum, K through 12. Talk to me what's happening in that review. Are we first determined, because I see the anticipated date is around 2026, 2027. So what do you hope to come from the review? Would a modification a year from now talk about certain courses to possibly require for graduation?
Right, and that goal of 26, 27 school year, there may be things that we see in place before then, but with the goal of having it all put together by then, yes, I think we need to look at curriculum to see what currently exists in that area, determine what is missing, and how we can insert it into the curriculum at the appropriate places. And then really taking a good look at the middle school and high school level, how we can amp that up.
Yeah.
Because financial literacy is incredibly important no matter what path our graduates take, whether they're college-bound, career-bound, military-bound, they are life-bound. And it's our obligation to provide them with opportunities to understand what they'll face as adults. I envision inviting people from our community to come in to speak to students so that they can get a real world vision of, well, what happens when I want to buy a car? What happens when I need a credit card? What happens when I have a student loan? You know, all of these questions, students just don't know what they don't know, and it's important for us to formalize how we can provide that information to them.
Thank you, and I couldn't agree more. And I think what you'll find in the review is that half-year course that directly targets personal financial literacy is probably going to be something that would be worth a full course and expanded to all students. My second and probably last question is, I may have missed it, but what under the document covers addressing learning loss, finding a way for us to collect data or at least understand what learning loss from COVID did to our student population? I know we've measured student success in certain ways, but are we trying to find a way to see what learning loss looks like in Mayapack?
I think it's looking at the data, and you know, it's not just state assessment data, it's also formative data that we have in the classroom. And when we talk about common assessments, I think it's really important that we start there and make sure that students are measured against the same standard across courses, maybe not all of the time, but certainly some of the time. And that gives us a lot of information. Also, keeping track of what needs the students have as we recover from the pandemic. So learning loss, we hear a lot about that. I think it's very difficult to define across the country. So it's just a matter of being aware that I think when we look at restorative practices for discipline, that's another way of looking at how can consequences be delivered to students so that it's more of a rehabilitative approach and less of a punitive approach. There's always going to be consequences, but that also, I think, is a result of learning loss during COVID. There's so much that was lost during COVID, and I think this plan covers so many different areas. And I also want to make a statement also that the New York State Department of Education released the report from the Blue Ribbon Commission about where is this Department of Education going in the future. And while there's a lot of unknowns in what they released, and it still needs to be voted upon by the Board of Regents and then really fleshed out, these are just general ideas. A lot of those general ideas are addressed in this strategic plan. So I was really happy. It's kind of validating to know that as we all worked on this plan, before we got the release of the graduation measures from the state of the Education Department, that, oh, we're on the right track there. So hopefully once changes are released from the Education Department, which over the course of history, there are always changes, that this plan will be able to support those changes and go beyond. So it's not that we're meeting the minimum that the state's recommending, that we truly bring more to our students.
Thank you. And Mr. President, if I may just to make a comment, this is a wonderful presentation, an even better document. I implore the entire community to take a look at the nitty-gritty details. This is going to put our school district on a path to even more success, focusing on values that students actually care about. Ms. Tona, I'm sure you saw in the feedback from seniors, a lot of this stuff that they've talked about has been stuff I've talked about when I came onto the board, talking about real world readiness and other important values, civics training, and even enriching the whole PAC history into our curriculum. We had a community conversation when our mascot was changed by the state, but I think something we all ended up learning more about was the origin of the Indian mascot. So even though it's not our mascot anymore, there's so much rich history that happened right here. And that's going to be really important for our students to learn. So I'm going to, I wish I could vote twice, but I can't. So I'm just going to vote once on this. I'm going to vote yes. I'm so excited to see what our superintendent and our administrative team, all the way down to the teachers and staff, are going to do with this plan. And I cannot wait to see the benefits the students will enjoy from it. So thank you, Ms. Tona, for your hard work. Looking forward to seeing how it progresses through the years. And you have my full, total trust and excitement to see this plan become action. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Tone, a quick question. So, Christine, in the strategic plan, where would you position, or where would you see parent involvement in the plan? That's one of the things that you've heard me thunder away at when we only get the kids, about 26 hours a week, and there's still another 142 hours that we don't get them. The one thing that I think we've seen a lot with COVID and the learning loss is we need to re-engage parents into the education. So the strategic plan is great, but it's only great if everybody's a partner in this, not just student-driven. It's got to be parent-driven as well. So I'm just looking and just trying to see how that's going to work your way, how you feel like you can reach out and get the parents more involved in the education and positive outcome.
Yeah, thank you for that question. So I brought back up on the slide the fifth priority on community engagement. So when we first embarked on this, like I had mentioned, we did the thought exchange, and whenever you do a thought exchange, it's a survey type of document. You're never going to get 100% of the people participate. But I think as we went through that process, some of the buildings started to look at climate surveys, so then it's more generic to a building. So I think we continue to move forward there, because the more parents feel that they have a voice, and then they see the information that comes from what they shared, and it's shared back with them, and the community sees myself, the administrative team, taking action on some of the concerns or comments that they have, I think people will have definitely more buy-in and feel like they should participate in surveys in the future. I continue to have community connections prior to every board meeting and every other month in the morning. So I welcome people to come and share what they think. The buildings have many events for parents to get involved in. Coffee with the counselors, meetings with the principals, town hall type of meetings. I think we just continue along that route. I meet with the PTO presidents and the SEPTO presidents on a monthly basis. So they're great to give me feedback and ideas of what else can we do. And I think it's just keep an open mind. We have a weekly newsletter. It's celebrating our district, celebrating our students, and making sure people are aware. However we can do that. I've been providing to Mahopac News a column on a monthly basis. I believe it will be released in this week's edition. So I think we just keep looking at different ways that we can do that. How else can we communicate what works best for people?
Anyone else? Thank you very much for the presentation. It was
Thank you.
fantastic. Ms. Loraka, do we have any comments on agenda items?
Not on agenda.
Not on agenda. Great. So I will once again turn it over to Superintendent Tona for her superintendent's report, as she makes her way back.
All right. So thank you for your feedback on the new strategic plan. I know I'm very excited about it. It was something that when I was in the interview process, it was something that I spoke of. And I'm grateful to our staff, especially the administrators, for all the work that they did in supporting the development of that plan. I mentioned earlier that even though Board of Education recognition was in October, I am honored to recognize the 9 individuals that make up the Mahopac Board of Education. As Principal Casacria said, Board of Ed trustees are volunteers, yet they give so much of their time to govern our district and support our students, staff, and me. And in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I am extremely grateful for all of our trustees, those that are here at the table and those that couldn't be with us this evening. And on behalf of the entire district, thank you for your commitment to the students, the staff, and the community of Mahopac. And please enjoy these tokens of appreciation that are in front of you. And again, thank you so much. So I'd like to mention that scholar athlete teams were announced by the New York State Public High School Athletic Association yesterday. And all of our fall teams have been identified as scholar athlete teams. That's wonderful. So the New York State Public High School Association honors the teams and individuals that excel in the classroom. Those student athletes, those teams, and the schools work very hard throughout the year and deserve to be recognized for all of their academic success. So congratulations to all of our fall athletic teams. We will be recognizing our individual fall athletes at the December Board of Education meeting, those that are receiving all section, all league, all conference honors. So I look forward to celebrating our fall athletes in December. And on tonight's agenda, I'm very, very pleased to announce that Patrick Evans will be our new principal at Mahopac High School. So Pat comes to us as current middle school assistant principal with quite a few years in the district that go way back because he's a Mahopac alum. So I have every confidence in Pat Evans as he moves into his new role. So in a few moments, the Board of Education will consider that appointment. And so we'll reserve congratulations until that is complete, but I'm very happy to present Pat Evans to the Board of Education tonight. Also on the agenda this evening is a contract for interim assistant principal Helen Horvitz. Helen retired from Mahopac as a middle school assistant principal. She's done a couple of stints with us before as an interim administrator, and I'm delighted to welcome Helen back to Mahopac, where she will fill in those big shoes of Mr. Keevans for the time being until we're able to find a permanent replacement there. And so with Mrs. Horvitz coming to join us, we anticipate a December 4th start date for Dr. Lawrence to come up to district office as Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, and for Mr. Keevans to assume the role of Mahopac High School Principal. So thank you all, and I wish everyone here and at home a happy, happy, and healthy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Superintendent Tona. Moving on to our committee reports, we'll start with Trustee Fafaro with facilities.
Good evening. Thank you. Yes, facilities met on the 7th of November. Present board members were Board Member Martinez, Savino, Mangan, and myself. We met with, from the administration, Ms. Tona, Tim Walsh, and Alyssa Murray from Finance. We had the opportunity to walk through Lakeview and see the progression on our construction there, and as we're winding down our capital projects. It looks really great. Some of the spaces look really, really good, especially that whole locker room. I mean, it's unbelievable, the transition there. It's hard to even imagine what was there before. It looks really good. So we're moving along in good order there. We did have a little bit of business to clean up on phase 1, I believe, some fire alarm stuff that we talked about a little bit. Still, we haven't really resolved anything there, and the board will hear about that, I'm sure, probably in December or January. We went over facilities use policy, which again, I think we kind of punted to policy, that'll go to policy. That's just, again, just cleaning up some stuff that really doesn't make sense anymore. We are, on our agenda tonight is to install a HVAC contract, a statewide contract, so we can take care of our HVAC work. And again, we got a chance to look at the library, and some of the facilities over there look really great, and doing a good job. Also, a playground, we got a new playground at Lakeview, so that's big news, right? Thank God, so all good.
Thanks, Dave. Moving on to human resources, Trustee Schneider.
Resources, since everybody wants to hear about human resources. November 14th, 2023 was the Human Resources Committee meeting. We started at 6:17 p.m. Location was the Falls Conference Room. Present was myself, Trustee Musafra, President Savino, Vice President Martinez, Superintendent Tona, Assistant Superintendent Human Resources Montello. We discussed topics for review for the Human Resources agenda, all of which are listed on for tonight. We have discussed the possible appointment of the new principal, which is still not finalized until we vote on it. And we have reviewed and discussed all items that are presented to the committee that are now presented to the board tonight. We closed our meeting at 7:49.
Excellent, thank you. Trustee Mongan with the policy report.
Thank you, President Savino. The Policy Committee met on October 26th at the district office at 7 o'clock. Present were myself, Lucy Masafra, Tanner McCracken, our Superintendent of Schools, Christine Tona, our District Clerk, Melody LaRocca, our Attorney, Allison Smith, and we had a special guest appearance by our Athletic Director, Stephen Luciano. A pretty aggressive agenda. We got through a good portion of it, but we spent a lot of time on the APP resolution regarding team and individual sports. We touched on policy 8140 for emergency school closings. We touched on the NISBA policy 8410 on the unsafe school transfer choice. Glossed over the 5710 NISBA's proposed changes for the uniform violent and disruptive incident reporting. And then finished up with the, which we'll go into more detail in the next policy meeting, policy 8211 on the access to the buildings and some of the proposed changes that will be discussed at the next policy meeting. So the meeting concluded at 8 o'clock, and I'd like to thank the committee for attending. Thank you.
Thanks, thank you. Next up, we have some donations to vote on. So we'll start with Trustee Schneider, Staples Connect.
Just one second, technical.
These are more complicated than they look sometimes.
No, it's really supposed to be so simple. It's just a button that you press. There it is. No, it's twice. Okay.
Yeah, it's the sweet spot.
Be it resolved upon recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education of Mahopac Central School District accepts a donation from Staples Connect of 528 donation boxes containing school supplies with a value of $2,640 to benefit the students of Fulmer Road Elementary School during the 2023-2024 school year. I offer this resolution as read.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Trustee McCracken for B, the first yearbook club donation.
Resolved, the Board of Education hereby approves the Mahopac High School Yearbook Club to make a donation of $3,000 to support 20 families in need during the 2023 holiday season. Thank you so much for your donation. So moved as read.
Second?
Second.
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 Seconds. All in favor?
If we could really just think about that impact, that is our high school students donating $3,000 to 20 of the local families that we have here. So
Yes.
that's really exceptional that our students are stepping up like that. There's not a lot of businesses or organizations in the county that step up like that. So I think it's outstanding to see an organization inside of our school, mainly consisting of our students, making a decision like that and doing that donation. So kudos to them, and way to spread the holiday cheer. Thank you.
And up again, the yearbook club with another donation. Trustee Mongan?
Thank you, President Savino. Resolved upon recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education of the Mahopac Central School District accepts a donation of photo frames and photos from the Mahopac High School Yearbook Club with a value of $1,142.74 to benefit the high school athletic department and all varsity sports for the 2023-2024 school year. Motion as read.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the last donation we have is from the middle school PTO. Be it resolved, the Board of Education of the Mahopac Central School District accepts a donation of $3,694 from the middle school PTO for a screen to be placed in the gym at the middle school. I offer this motion. Get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so moving on to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda for tonight?
President Savino, could we just pull C5 quickly for just a brief discussion?
So we can call C5. Can I get a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
We're Board of Inquiry. Want to make I got a point of inquiry. I'm trying to find C5 here. Okay, to discuss? Okay. Is there a second?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there was.
What's that?
Trustee Schneider second.
Yes, it is seconded, yes.
Does this, just point of, I guess, clarification, does this need to go into executive session since nothing's been done, or are we allowed to discuss this because it's on an agenda that has public information? I just want to make sure we walk a fine line before we do anything that would.
Trustee Morgan, are you talking about somebody on the agenda?
No,
Is it
I'm not
Ms.
talking
Morgan?
about a person, I'm just talking about the position. Nothing as a person, just a position. Just a quick discussion.
Right. And so, all in favor?
To discuss, aye.
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 Okay.
Okay, just quick points. So, so this was, we kind of glossed over it at the work session, but, so this is the temporary, the temporary senior office assistant part-time. So instead of the clericals being given an opportunity for overtime, they were provided a temporary senior office assistant for part-time on the job listing to perform the work for the clerical unit that I think the clerical unit's entitled to. The salary on the internal posting didn't match the salary on the external posting, were kind of different things. I thought if, in my comments the other night, the internal posting I thought was a little vague, and I felt like if it was written better, that I think more people would have taken advantage of it, because I think it really didn't mention the fact that there was work that could be done after hours and on weekends. So I thought that was, because I think a lot of people would have taken advantage of that. The other thing I think we had to do is I think we had a procedure. I think we have to develop. We have to create the position first before we can actually post the position. I think that's the board via resolution has to create the new position. The fundamental problem with it all really is the fact that we're needing all this work because our salaries in that clerical unit are not, they're just too low. We're not attracting we're not attracting the people we need to attract here to take these positions. I've talked about this on this board. I've been on this is my 7th year on the school board. I've thundered away at the fact that we are not competitive when it comes to our clerical staff, our custodial staff, and even our teaching assistants. We need to be more competitive. To continue to send back the civil service list because nobody wants to take the job doesn't bode well for anybody. We have 9 extremely smart people and a heck of a superintendent up here. We should be able to figure out without negotiating or anything what a living wage is and what will attract people to Mahopac. It's ridiculous that we have to go and try to circumvent a system because we're not willing to pay people a fair wage to come to work for us. So my point is, let's get together and let's get a fair wage to attract people here and not discourage people and have them go somewhere else. The other thing we have is we have clerical substitute. We have clerical substitute line item that we pay the minimum wage. So if we want a sub to come in for a day to give somebody a spell or somebody's sick, we're paying that person minimum wage. We're not even in the ball game when it comes to what else is going on in the metropolitan area. Other schools are paying $20 to $25 an hour to have people come in and help out in the jam. So I'm challenging in this board right now to change that and go and advance that from minimum wage to a living wage of between $20 and $25 an hour. So we can finally get people here to fill in for people and we can attract people to this district. It's embarrassing to have people, at the top end, superintendents, assistant superintendents, administrators, teachers, and then there's a huge cutoff when we get to monitors and teaching assistants and custodial and clerical. We have to get the balance back. We have to be more competitive. These are the people these are on the ground floor. This is our foundation. Our foundation are these people, are our clerical, our custodians, our teaching assistants. We need them. We need to attract them. I can't stand going through and watching in these agendas how teaching assistants are leaving and other people are coming in and people are leaving. Pay them a living wage. attract good people here. We have such a good district, but we're not doing what we should be doing. We should be giving them a living wage. Does anybody know what the taxes are here? And these people, most of these people in this unit actually live here. So my point is to have them go to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Mongan. I certainly understand the points that you raised. I just want to make some clarifying comments. First, about the position of temporary senior office assistant part-time. We do have open posting for permanent positions, full-time positions, and if anyone knows anyone who's interested in those positions, to please reach out to either myself or Assistant Superintendent Pontillo, because we're happy to have those conversations with people that are interested. There is an open posting. The posting for part-time was put into place to fill the need because we have so many openings for permanent people, and we don't have them currently. We are offering overtime to clericals that can do that work in that particular location. It doesn't necessarily bode well for someone in another building to be able to do overtime for a different building. There needs to be some level of understanding of what's going on in that building. So, we encourage current members of the unit, if they're interested in overtime, to reach out to Mrs. Pontillo, and she'll be happy to have that conversation. We do have the part-time position still open. We're just trying to fill the need so that our existing clericals feel the support that we're trying to provide. And we don't want to cause them any more stress in their work environment based on the fact that we don't have all of those positions filled. Regarding the hourly salary, I believe on the posting it was the annual salary, and because this is part-time hourly, the hourly rate was converted from the full salary. That was how it was just determined, because it's not a full-time position. When we talk about where the salary is compared to living wage, and especially with each of our bargaining units, I really can't comment too much on that because that is the product of collective bargaining, and we are in negotiations with several of our units. So I think that that's inherent in the collective bargaining process. So I do think some of the other ideas with substitute pay, we have started to talk about that, and that is a topic for discussion in our HR committee. And then probably more specifically, some things might be executive session material. I think and the part-time position that is on tonight's agenda, it does not include weekends. It is flexible. So if there's an individual that's interested in it, it could be during the school day, it could be after hours, but still when there are people in the building to support them, whether it's someone that may be appointed now or in the future. So if there's anyone who's looking for additional part-time work that's temporary, please reach out to either myself or Mrs. Pontillo. We're happy to have that conversation with you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Mongan, thank you for the comments, and thank you for the clarifications there. I sit as the chairman of the HR committee, so everything that she said was discussed, and it was definitely questions that were asked to ensure that we believe that it was being done appropriately for what the parameters were that we currently have. The comment I completely agree with you on is in regards to how we attract and how we retain top talent. When I was on the town board, we would take a look at what our surrounding area had for competitive salaries for different postings that we would have. And there is definitely a noticeable difference on certain salaries that we have. That is difficult because it is part of a collective bargaining agreement that a unit that has union representation negotiates on. So yeah, I agree with you. If we really do want to attract, we have to be open and we have to be receptive. But at the same time, we know that 80% of our budget driving factors are human resources, which would be our payroll, our benefits, our retirement contributions, and insurance. So it's again, this really tough balance, but I agree with you. We need to be competitive, And unfortunately, if you're a teacher assistant in this area, and that is the only income that you have, more than likely you do not own a house here. It's very unfortunate, but we can't really talk about living wages. We can talk about competitive salaries based on our surroundings. And I think that's really where we need to make sure that we're competitive. So that again, we recruit the best, we retain the best, we create the best culture where everybody feels appreciated for the jobs that they do. And I think that's how we're gonna get the best path going forward and get the most productivities out of our team members and the talent that we have. So thanks to both of you guys for your comments.
Anyone else? Okay, so going back to, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda for tonight.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Point of inquiry.
Any opposed? Any other discussion?
I have a point of inquiry. Now, do we vote on 5C separately now because it was removed for discussion?
No, it wasn't a move, just for discussion. It's pulled for discussion, doesn't it get voted? No?
Yeah, I see Melody nodding, and so I think per Robert's rules, it got pulled from consent agenda to be discussed, which means what we just voted on was everything but 5C, so now 5C gets voted on now?
Yes.
Okay, so,
But since it's still part of the consent agenda.
yeah, so with that being said, Mr. President,
Sorry, so yeah, I just wanted to clarify, yes, it was motion to discuss, the discussion concluded. We can still just make a motion on the consent agenda without making any alterations to the motion, pulling out C5. The only time we would make that motion would be if we wanted to modify anything inside the consent agenda or have that voted on separately, or
Okay.
have it voted on independently where everybody has their say. But
But right now, it's still part of the consent agenda.
So 5C just
It's open for
passed.
discussion.
So 5C passed. Okay, so my only other comment, Mr. President, would just be to congratulate the members of the Ad hoc Advocacy Committee. This is now our third installment, and with the passage of the consent agenda, we have appointed 25 members of our community to be voting active members of our board committee. So our first meeting is going to be next week, Tuesday, November 28th, and I'm very excited to be chairing for the second year. We have a lot of good work to do, and it's just great to see the board's support, to have people from our community be voting active members as we vote for recommendations for advocacy directly to the Board of Education and our superintendent. So congratulations to all the members on the agenda under Y.
Now that's official. I'd like to be the first one to congratulate Pat Hughes on his appointment to principal of Mahopac High School. Okay, so we're up to public comment. Mr. Rocco, do we have anyone signed up?
Michael Kremen? Kremen? Michael Kremen? No. Melissa Reardon?
Good evening. So I do want to address what Mr. Mongan said about school monitors, teaching assistants. We don't realize what an important role they play in our children's lives in the school. They are actually probably even more connected to the kids than even the teachers are. Monitors know their names even, all of their names. They're keeping them safe in the hallways. They are all eyes and ears as well. Helping with discipline, which we surely know that, that's something that Mahopac School District is kind of coming down hard on the kids, which I'm grateful to see, and I would wish that parents would, watch these meetings more and attend more and become more involved and know what's exactly going on. And throughout the year, every month, we receive emails of community, the good news, everything that's going on in Mahopac School District. as well as, concerning issues. There's a lot of concerning issues that are going on in our schools as well. All schools, from elementary, middle to high school. Sadly, there was an inappropriate video being shared throughout the middle school. And it's quite heartbreaking to see such young children participating in such inappropriate acts. But I do find it quite hypocritical, because those students can read about those sexual explicit acts in the school libraries, but they act on it and they get punished. Very hypocritical of the school district. So I personally, if I were their parents, I would actually ask you to retract their punishment. Weren't they just learning, as you say? It's your words, not mine.
Thank you, Ms. Reardon. Anyone else? Ms. Larkin?
No, that's it.
Okay. So with that, I wanted to thank Ms. Etlinger and Mr. Kozakria for speaking on behalf of their units, for your kind words of support for the board. It is an honor to be here, to sit on this board and represent the children and the community. It's a labor of love. There are a lot of hours, it's all volunteer, but I wouldn't change it for the world. So thank you for your support, and I'm glad we are here to support you. So that is one thing I am thankful for this season, this Thanksgiving. So to you, everyone out there and everybody in attendance, I wish you all the best for a safe, restful, and happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with your families, and we will see you next month. Can I get a motion to close, please?
Do we have,
We're not closing.
no, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I get a motion to go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter? A residency matter.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, and have a great night. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.